So, what if I told you that the key to a truly vibrant life isn't about getting everything perfectly in order, but about embracing a healthy dose of chaos? Today, we're diving into a philosophy that argues exactly that, and we're going to use a pretty unlikely source of wisdom, a classic comedy film. But first, I gotta ask you something. Have you ever felt like you were just going through the motions? Stuck in what one writer calls a dumb daze? That feeling of being totally trapped by routine, almost hypnotized by it all. Just hold on to that thought. Because the way out of that daze, well, it's probably not what you're thinking. The whole argument we're digging into today is this: true spirituality is chaos. It's this wild idea that a genuine connection with yourself isn't about finding some quiet peace, it's actually about shaking things up. Now, to really get why anyone would champion chaos, we first have to talk about the flip side, the tyranny of a life that's just a little too perfect. So, what exactly do we mean by extreme order? Well, think about it like this: a life totally run by rigid rules, where stability is the number one goal, and everything is predictable. This philosophy suggests that organized institutions often push this idea, a very structured, very predictable path for you to follow. The traditional model is pretty simple, right? You seek guidance, you follow the rules, and you found stability. And look, to be fair, for some folks who are in total disarray, this can actually work. But, and this is a big one, it just doesn't work for everybody. That perfectly ordered, ordinary life is not always the right answer. So what happens when that perfectly ordered life gets forced on someone it doesn't really fit? The result can be what's called a soul-killing normal existence. Yeah, you get stability, sure, but you lose that spark, that vitality. Okay, so if extreme order is the trap, what's the escape hatch? Well, that brings us to the Antidote, and an absolutely perfect case study from the world of rock and roll. You heard me right. We are talking about the 2003 classic School of Rock. And yeah, it might seem like just a fun comedy on the surface, but stick with me, because it's also a perfect parable for how a dose of chaos can totally reawaken the human spirit. Every great story of transformation needs a catalyst, right? A spark. And in this movie, we get the ultimate agent of chaos, a character type that this philosophy actually calls the Magic Man. First, just look at the students at Horace Green Prep School. I mean, these kids are the textbook definition of extreme order. They are trapped. They're kept on that straight and narrow path. They're stuck in this daily drudgery. And sure, they get amazing grades, but there's no soul. They're just lifeless. And then, into this perfectly ordered, soul-crushing world, in walks the substitute. This is Dewey Finn, played by the one and only Jack Black. And he is not a teacher, he's more like a force of nature. He is the agent of chaos, the shaman who shows up with one goal: to just completely flip the established order on its head. And what's his weapon of choice for creating all this beautiful chaos? You guessed it. Rock and roll. His mission is to inject all of its raw, rebellious, creative energy right into the heart of this super sterile, rule-based world. So what happens when an unstoppable force of chaos meets a very ordered, movable object, as it turns out? You get a full-on rock and roll reawakening, a journey from total drudgery to glorious distortion. And you want to know the best part? The proof of what their life was like before? It's right there in the lyrics of the song they write themselves. They literally diagnose their own problem. We were stuck in a dumb daze, living lies and feeling hypnotized. That's not just some cool lyric, that is a confession. I mean, just look at the transformation. It is so stark. Before Dewey, you have kids who were just products of this extreme order. Good grades, stuck, hypnotized, no soul. But after his chaotic intervention, well, they're not the perfect sons and daughters anymore, but man, they have passion. They feel alive. They found their artistic voice. It's really that simple. The agent of chaos, this so-called Magic Man, came to town and did exactly what their song says. He spun their heads around and just shattered that hypnotic spell of their perfectly ordered lives. Okay, but hold on. This isn't just a simple story about chaos good, order bad. The real takeaway here is something much more nuanced. It's about finding the balance, what we could call the ultimate synthesis of these two powerful forces. And you gotta understand, this is a two-way street. If your life is just pure chaos, what's the antidote? a little dose of order. But if your life is suffocating under way too much order, then you might need what the text calls a whale of chaos to break free. So the crucial point here is that we really need a bit of both. It's not about choosing one side. It's about recognizing that a truly vibrant life needs this constant dance between order and chaos. One gives you structure, the other gives you energy. One gives you roots, the other gives you wings to fly. Because without that balance, we're all at risk of getting stuck right back in that soul-killing dumb daze. And all the stuff that makes life really worth living, creativity, passion, art, rock and roll, none of it can exist in a world that's just pure order, or just pure chaos. It's born right in the middle, in that beautiful tension between the two. So I'm gonna leave you with one final question to think about. Just take a second and look at your own life, right now, in this moment. Which antidote do you need more? Is it a small injection of order, or is it time for a whale of chaos?